Tom Brady will play this season at the age of 42 and has been pushing the narrative the past 2 seasons that he wants to play until he's 45. Questions began to arise when he put his Boston area home on the market over the weekend. When asked yesterday if he plans to play until he's 45, Brady said he certainly hopes so, and that the hardest part is preparing his body for each season. Eric Mangini, thankfully back with us. Do you believe that Tom Brady will play until he's 45?
Yeah, I have no reason not to believe Tom Brady will play till he's 45.
It's called Father Time.
Yeah.
Wait, hey,
But it was called Father Time at 38. It was called Father Time at 35. It was called Father Time at 40. It was called Father Time last year. And one of the things that he's consistently done is defy Father Time. I think the issue in New England, it will be more a function of, do you get into a Jimmy Garoppolo type situation again? So let's say the new kid that drafted, Jarrett Stidham, had a pretty good preseason opener, very similar to Garoppolo's opener. 2 or 3 years down the road, he's an emerging guy. It comes to the point where they got to keep Tom another year or they got to move on. I think that's where it's going to be really interesting in terms of his ability to consistently perform at a high level. That's there. He's shown his ability to do that. And he also has the advantage of having Josh McDaniels there and Dante Scarnecchia there and continuity in the coaching staff. Another thing that I could see moving him out of there is if that changed dramatically. Let's say Josh goes and gets a head coaching job and Dante retires again. You know, playing with a totally different staff could also be a consideration for Tom.
Can I give you my glasses? Because obviously you haven't been watching Tom Brady, okay? And all of his numbers are down, and I'm going to put my glasses on. Last year, passer rating, down. Touchdown passes, down. Interceptions, up. Yards per game, down. Completion percentage, down. Yards per pass, down. Did you watch him in the Super Bowl? Did you watch how awful Tom Brady was?
Can we just talk about your hashtag?
What?
Inconsistent Rob Parker.
No, I'm just...
Hashtag inconsistent Rob Parker. So the last segment we did, you didn't want to hear about Dak's stats, right? Dak's stats didn't matter in relationship to Carson Wentz. It was, do you watch the tape? Who would you want? Who would you take? And then inconsistent Rob Parker pivots to, this is down, the stats are down, this is down.
But
you know,
wait a minute.
You know what's up? Another Super Bowl banner is up in New England.
But it had nothing to do with Tom Brady.
Stat and put it right here in your pocket.
It had nothing to do with Tom Brady. That defense and Sony Michel won that Super Bowl. And here's the other thing. Did you watch him? He had no touchdowns. He had a pick. He had a fumble. Tom Brady was awful in that Super Bowl. They scored 13 points. And if you watch Tom Brady, he also threw the game-losing pick in the AFC Championship game. That was an offsides call.
He probably realized the guy jumped off sides and took it
and threw it right to him. Is that what it was?
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna throw it to his bread basket.
Just to make it a little more.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe
it better is a little something to think about.
You know it, Eric. I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to believe Tom Brady is going to defy the odds.
Rob,
the signs are there. We saw it last year. Can I give you one of his last year? Against Pittsburgh, he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds. You remember that play? He didn't even have enough arm strength. He threw a pick because he couldn't get the ball out of play. There's a radio clip from the Patriots radio network that said it was Tom Brady's worst pass in 10 years. I've seen the signs. There were signs
some guy on the radio network?
There were signs
Has the radio network guy even watched the last 10 years?
He was there. I'm talking about a Patriots radio network.
Okay, so some guy on the radio says it's the worst pass in 10 years.
He covers the Patriots.
Of course he does. I'm sure in between is the hot dog that he had.
Why aren't you not watching?
The bathroom break that he took.
Have you watched Tom Brady last year? You think he's as good as he was 3 years ago?
I mean, look.
I'm asking you.
Is he as good as the greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL that's had some of the greatest seasons in the history of the NFL? No, he may have been down at different points, but he was good enough to win the Super Bowl again. How many points did the Rams score?
That had nothing to do with Tom Brady. They scored 3.
Okay, and how many did the Patriots score?
13.
There you go.
Well, Peyton Manning put up the same numbers that Tom Brady put up, and he was showing the door after they won a Super Bowl.
The door where?
The door out of the organization.
Which organization?
Who?
Was he showing the door out of?
Denver.
Okay, well, he also had neck problems. He was getting ready to retire.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
So, Eric, so you think he will play till he's 45 or could, but the Patriots' new contract with him basically is kind of a one-year deal here.
Yeah, they're all going to be year to year, and I think that makes a lot of sense. They can't franchise him. So each season, Tom has the right to renegotiate his deal as well, and that gives both the club and the player a chance to get to a number that works without being bound by the contract. And some of that number that works is going to be what works for the organization, the players they're trying to bring around them, and some of it is how do you pay Tom so that it's reasonable and not ridiculous compared to some of these young guys that are getting paid a lot of money that haven't done anything.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
You want to look at the contract and all of that, and you want to say that he's not going to play because he's declining, but all of these things are reasons why he will continue to play. Number one, they don't have that Jimmy Garoppolo sitting behind Tom that is going to usher him out. They haven't unveiled that. We don't know what they have behind him. Number two, the contract that he has signed, as you just mentioned, favors both parties. So now all of a sudden, we have the option next year to make sure that we do get the deal. And we understand, Tom understands what we're trying to produce and what we're trying to maintain, which is value in every position. So, Tom, we're not going to pay you top dollar at quarterback position. He understands that.
He shouldn't get top dollar. He's already getting his pension and Social Security.
But for him, let me get to the performance. You keep mentioning how he's declining. His decline, although it may be a decline, is still so good that they continue to hang banners, as Coach just mentioned.
But not because of Tom.
How is it not because of Tom? He's the reason why they have the success. He's the brains of the operation. When you start a franchise, what's the most valuable, most important position in all of football? Do you know that position?
Quarterback.
A quarterback. So when you look at the New England Patriots, do they have someone that they can't count on that is so declined, his physical ability is so poor that they can't win anymore? Do they have that guy? No, they have a guy that can still get it done. And the reason why he's been able to defy all these odds of Father Time, will Father Time catch up with him? Yes, but he is doing everything in his power physically in the offseason, during the season, to maintain supreme shape for his physical body and age so that he can still perform. And the one thing that gets sharper as you get older is that brain. And what he's seen...
For some people.
No,
Very
obviously, because I've been schooling you guys here. I've been covering sports for 33 years. And my only thing is, I think it's just so easy. I call it lazy NFL analyst, being an NFL analyst, to pick Tom Brady every year. You've been picked up. Tom Brady went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl, and every year everybody picked the Patriots. Nobody remembers that Tom Brady or that situation, those 10 years where they didn't win, and nobody remembers or acts like Tom Brady wasn't awful in the Super Bowl. That's what he was. He was awful, and yet they won, and everybody throws up. They couldn't even fudge and give him the MVP in the Super Bowl. That's how bad he was. They had to go. They couldn't do it because he was bad. And in the Philadelphia game, he also gave up. He coughed up the football with 2.5 minutes to go. Do you remember that?
I know you've been covering sports for 33 years.
33.
And covering your eyes for 34. So when you look at Tom Brady, last year the narrative going into the season was they lost their left tackle, they didn't have any wide receivers, there was transition, and every year that's the story in New England. But they don't talk about, we need to go get Tom more weapons. We need to get this for Tom. We need to get that for Tom, like we do for 1,000 quarterbacks on this show. How are we going to support this guy? How are we going to support that guy? That's the difference between Tom and everybody else, is he is a force multiplier, and he's willing to be coached at 42 years old, which is a great example.
Tom will not play at age 45. Awesome. This is his last season.
Way to go on a limb.
Eric Mangini, he just made a lot of new friends because he just destroyed Rob.
What are you talking about?
I felt bad for you.
Inconsistent Rob Parker.
Inconsistent Rob Parker. Thanks for joining us, Eric. We'll see you tomorrow. More hype for Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Is it overkill at this point? That's next.
Hashtag inconsistent Rob Parker.